What's going on, everybody? Sean Power here at the Hilson Studio with the illustrious
Chris Condon.
We're here to check out the new warmaudio Mutation Phasor II pedal, put it through some of its paces, and give a listen to how it sounds. Let's get into it. The warmaudio Mutation Phasor II is an accurate recreation of a funky phaser made famous in the experimental era of the 1970s. Mutation Phasor II has all of the vintage vibes of the original phaser pedal, allowing you to add depth, wobble, swirl, or instant funk to guitar, keys, bass, and anything you can dream of. This electro-optical phase-shifting pedal is built with a true-to-original recreation of the 70s circuit using premium components. Just like the original pedal, Mutation Phasor II delivers all the rich depth and instant psychedelic tones favored by innovative musicians and producers like Billy Corgan, Tom Bukovac, Robin Trower, and many more. Let's hear how it sounds. Why don't we start by just telling me a little bit about the guitar and I guess what we're going on with the pedals and what we're doing with the amp.
So guitar is just a guitar I built. It's a MJT body with the Musicraft neck and Fralin noiseless Jazzmaster pickups. And going into a Bad Cat, Hot Cat 30. Got a little bit of slapback from the Line 6. And reverbs in the box and into the phaser.
We're going through the Marshall 412 with two WA-14s directly into the WA-273, but with no EQ, so you can just hear the sound of the amp and the pedal just as it is. Well, let's hear the tone clean a little bit. Pretty straight ahead, standard clean tone.
Clean tone.
warmaudio is kind enough to provide a few presets in the manual. We're going to go ahead and dial in the first one here. This one is called Basic Phasing. We'll set the rate right around 5. You've got a window between 1 and 5 where it'll still kind of accomplish the sound, but we're going to dial it in exactly as it appears in the manual. Set the depth to 8, set the feedback pretty much down at 0, and let's hear how this sounds. I like that. It almost feels vibrato-y, tremolo-y-ish, just because you're used to that sort of, modulation effect, and this, like those, would be a modulation effect.
You want to maybe mess with the rate?
There's a lot of room in this rate knob here to go from real slow to real fast. That's really swimmy, but that can be a really cool, a specific kind of effect for a lead, like a simple, give me a little bit like a simple melodic lead kind of thing.
It's almost more filtery.
It's a little more subtle, like with the depth coming down, it's not quite a wet dry, but it definitely, gives you less of an exaggerated kind of sound. That's excessive at this speed, but I think we're going to want to have the ability to go deeper when we're doing the lower rate stuff.
Right.
With the feedback up, it gives it a little bit more of that filtered, nosy, quacky kind of sound. That is as fast as it gets. That's as fast as you're ever going to use it. Maybe faster than you're ever going to use it, but that is still, I can see that being a cool effect for use in a moment in a song. Just put a little texture into a chord so it's not, just strum us a G chord.
That's kind of a neat effect.
Yeah. Like adding it as a modulation to a delay. I actually like it that fast for this shallow depth. Yeah, that still feels like rotary cab to me a little bit, which is cool because it's kind of hard to get that with much of anything else.
All right.
And I've had other phaser pedals that don't get as fast, and there are times when you want this. It could be really cool for, like I said, like a melodic lead.
A double.
Sure, yeah, underneath, like or an octave up or an octave down.
Yeah, because I'll do that a lot, like a Leslie tone over a like a Siglick or something, you know, to kind of just give it a texture.
So having a wet, like a all phaser one and then a dry version on top.
Yeah, so you have just a dry one. And then you put that. Kind of like a gag, a goofy little thing, just have a texture underneath it.
Pan them left and right, keep them down the center, either way, I guess.
Yeah, it would be like a left-right thing, and just to give it like, you know, two drastic tones, it's a fun, quirky tone that, you know, you wouldn't always use, but you throw it in as a gag for a double.
Yeah, that's a great application too for in the studio. And I'm sure you could put it on anything, including running a piano out to it. And obviously there's a million plugins in the world, but like you don't get to dial it in exactly the right way. The tactile feel of a knob, even a little bit more of that life and that kind of the sound that you'd be trying to get it to sound like, which I always struggle with plugins to make it actually sound like an actual B3 or swirly kind of Leslie sort of sound. So we have another preset here in the manual called Swirly Sweep Phasing. We're going to dial that in and see how it sounds. Set the rate a little bit between like 1 and 2. So this one's going to be a little bit slower kind of a feel, but very high depth and very high feedback. So it should be...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a vocal kind of... That's cool. It's got that like vowel sound kind of throaty thing.
Yeah.
So that shows us a bunch of the sounds that we're able to get with the amp on a clean setting. Let's go ahead and switch it over to something a little bit dirtier and see how the phaser impacts that.
Okay, so here we go, dirty.
I kind of like how, like when you're just holding the chords out, how you're getting that, you're hearing that kind of vowel-y, vocally kind of motion. And it does give me that, maybe in that like Van Halen kind of neighborhood as well. Man, this thing just sounds killer. There's a lot of different really useful settings. I love the ability to go from very subtle to very extreme, from very slow on the rate to very fast on the rate. I really like the kind of funky vowel sound sort of sound, as well as some of the stuff we were able to kind of pull up that sort of gives us a little bit of that 80s and even 90s and 2000s kind of tone, especially when we use it with the dirty channel as well.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Thanks so much for joining us. Head on over to warmaudio.com for more information on the Mutation Phasor II. Let them know what you think. Chris, you want to play us out?